Hey everybody, I just wanted to make another quick video that walks you through some good spots to find the pretty specialized sources that you're going to need for this critical analysis essay. So I promise I won't make this too long, but I thought this might prove helpful. So we already know how to find what we need in the library databases and do good searches for that. If you need to go back and review that document that I put up with those screenshots back in week 1, all that info is there, and that all applies to this kind of research as well. But like I said, I wanted to show you some places that will be particularly helpful for the kind of sources you need. So let's go to the databases, and because the sources you need must come from the databases. I wouldn't, don't try to go through like Google Scholar or try to look up, I don't know, Cliff's Notes or some kind of lame source like that. What you need should be available in here. And like I went through those screenshots, there are lots of ways to do your searches. I would recommend making your life easy and just going straight to the literature tab here. So if you click on this, it will take you to all the databases we have that are specifically geared toward literature. So this is a great way to kind of weed out all the databases that might not be so helpful, and some in particular that I highly recommend for what you're doing. Bloom's Literary Reference Online is fantastic. So this is a great place to find scholarly critical articles on the poets and poems that are represented on our reading list, and either of those are applicable. So just because you can't, just to make it clear, just because you may not be able to find articles specifically about the poem on the reading list, you can find articles about the poet, and that is just as applicable. So let's say you do a search for Elizabeth Bishop. Okay. Fish. Let's take a look here. So there are articles about her, and there may actually be some articles about that poem as well. It's a pretty anthologized poem, so there's quite a bit out there about it. I can't say the same about all the poems on our reading list, but that should not discourage you from trying to work with them. If you liked the poem and you're interested in learning, more about the poet and talking about that and looking at the critical analysis, which, just to be clear, critical doesn't mean saying negative things about or pointing at problems with an author's work. When we talk about literature criticism, we're basically just talking about professional literary analysts exploring the work, a particular work, or the body of work of another writer. So we've got several articles about Elizabeth Bishop, and we may be able to find something. Oh, there it is. There's the fish. So this article is about the fish in particular, but any of these up here that talk about her work in general, they may mention the fish. They may not, but you might still be able to apply to your own analysis. So Bloom's Literature, great place to look. It's definitely worth a peek. Highly recommend it. Another one that is pretty outstanding is Gale Literature. Okay. And down here we've got Literature Resource Center. So this one is probably my favorite out of all of them. I really, really like this database, and I've gotten a lot of miles out of it. Let's just say that. I recommend it to all my face-to-face 102 classes, and they tend to really like it too. So what's cool about it is that there's a pretty good chance that what you need is in here. It's pretty specialized, but what I think is neat is that there's two ways to do your searches. Right? You can either do a search for the person, so you put in the poet's name, do a search for them that way, or you can do a search for the poem specifically, right, and see if that's available in there. So no guarantees that it will be, but let's try again with Elizabeth Bishop. Now, this is not to say like, okay, everyone should write theirs about Elizabeth Bishop's poem, but so let's go ahead and give it a try and see. Sorry if I'm being kind of whispery. My son's taking a nap right now. I don't want to wake him up. You gotta, let's do a search for the fish. Gotta get your work in while you can, right, parents? I know you know what I'm talking about. So let's see here. Obviously, these are not all related to what we're talking about. So we'll kind of scroll down. There it is, Elizabeth Bishop. So there are actually, as it says here, 6 articles that are about the poem. So, ooh, well, that's embarrassing. Okay, well, it'll work for you. I hope. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's try that again. Oh, daggone it. All right. I promise it'll work for you, though. I hope. All right. Or maybe you just need to come back to it later and see. I know I talked a big game about this database. It's really good, I swear. Gale Literature Resource Center. Why don't things ever work when you need them to? Dadgummit. But like I said, you can also do a person search too. So I could do a search for Elizabeth Bishop right here in the main, and do a combined search as well. That's another option. Again, no guarantees. Or I could do the person search just for her. She wrote a lot of other poems as well. She's pretty famous. So this has to do with Hemingway, Elizabeth Bishop's The Fish. So there's, as we can see here, there's 154 literature criticisms that mention Elizabeth Bishop and The Fish. Are they all related to what you're doing? No. But this one right here could be a tremendous fish. That looks pretty cool. That could be relevant in some way. The impersonal and the interrogative in the poetry of Elizabeth Bishop. So, I mean, you know, though, that, okay, that might not be entirely about that poem, but you know that it's a guarantee that the fish will be mentioned in there because you did a search for that. Another thing you can do is the topic and work overviews. Click on the link there. See where that takes you. Please work. Yay, it worked. Okay, so we've got Overview the Fish, another one called they're all called Overview the Fish, almost. North and South is the poetry collection where that poem was first published, so that could be relevant as well. But you only need 2. So, I mean, the nice thing is you may be able to, if you know how to do your searches effectively, then you can find what you need pretty quickly, and that's why I wanted to show you guys this. So Literature Resource Center is a pretty rich vein of good literature criticism. Bloom's Literary Reference Center, highly recommend it. We've got journal articles in Gale Literature. We've got Gale Literature Criticism. This is a really good one too. This is just literature criticism, hence the name. So what's kind of different about this is that it's taken, it's like PDFs of an actual book that contain criticism, but let's do another search here while we're on a roll. Let's see what comes up. Elizabeth Bishop, comma Elizabeth. Let's see what we can find here. Okay, there's one by Elizabeth Bishop. We don't need that. The Elizabeth Bishop Phenomenon. That looks cool. That could be good. So, The Unromantic American. Interesting. Rereading Elizabeth Bishop. Yeah. Her body, her art. So it looks pretty cool. Again, you could do a combined search that looks for the fish and see, you know, if you can find something specifically about that. But let's say we wanted to use this one. This is what it will look like when you go. I give up. You can click on it yourself and look and hope it'll be up and working when you go in there. All right. I know. So those are all good. And I mean, typically, JSTOR can be kind of hit or miss, but you know, if you're struggling, it could be a good place to look. You can also do, you know, the kind of power searches in the Gale and EBSCO power searches, looking for the poet's name and the title of the poem, or just the poet's name. Just remember, you're going to get a lot more sources, and a lot of them probably won't be relevant. So I feel like this is really the most efficient way to find what you need. And make sure to check and see if a works cited entry is provided for an article that you decide you want to use, and to make sure to fix any issues with the works cited entry according to the guidelines in your Bedford Handbook. Okay, because if they're wrong, you're wrong, and I wouldn't want to put that much faith in a stranger myself. And some are way more wrong than others. I mean, I won't bore you with who's the worst and who's the best. You're just going to have to take a look for yourself and double check, because the handbook has the guidelines we go by. I don't know why they didn't use it, but hey, If you want something done right, gotta do it yourself, right? Okay, well, I hope this proved helpful. Sorry for all the, page didn't upload ones. I hope that doesn't happen to you, but if you do run into any problems, let me know as soon as possible. Or if you are struggling to find what you need source wise, let me know. I love a challenge when it comes to finding sources. Anytime students tell me there's nothing in the databases, I say, give me 5 minutes. And then usually I find something. So let me know if you're struggling, and I will accept that challenge. What I will not accept is anyone telling me that there's nothing in there, because it's not true. It's in there. Sometimes you got to dig. Sometimes it's just a little hard. That doesn't mean it's never going to work. Sometimes it takes a few tries. So let me know if you need any help, and good luck to everybody, and have a great day. Don't forget to wash your hands and don't touch your face. Take care. Bye bye.